In about 1 week, we'll be crossing the border into Canada to head to Alaska for the summer. We're near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho right now, and we're spending this week making all our final preparations for the big trip. And of course, we'll be taking you along, showing you exactly what we're doing and what we're buying to hopefully be prepared for our trip to the last frontier. Okay, and side note, if you saw last week's video, you know that I got in a bit of a bicycle accident, and that's why my face is a little banged up. I tried to cover this up, but there was no hope for me. But at least I have all my teeth now.
First on our list this week is an upgrade. It's actually the only upgrade we're going to do to prepare for Alaska. A lot of people have suggested a lot of upgrades to help prepare for Alaska. So one of the biggest upgrades people have suggested is upgrading the suspension. The reason we're not upgrading the suspension is because Brinkley already comes with a beefier suspension than typical. It comes with supports for the leaf spring hangers. It comes with a beefier shackle. It comes with beefier leaf springs, and the axles are rated for 7,000 per axle, which is more than what was needed for the weight of this RV. So we're feeling pretty confident that we'll be fine with our suspension and all that. However, if you don't feel confident with yours, them are some of the components you can upgrade, or even we've been told to take an extra leaf spring with us just in case, which is not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. We're not doing it, but you'll follow along if you subscribe to the channel and get to see whether or not we regret that.
Also, if we upgrade everything and plan everything to the T, I feel like there won't be as good opportunities for content for you guys.
That's true.
So we don't plan everything, something's bound to go wrong, and you got misery loves company. So I'm sure everybody else out there suffering is gonna love it.
The other thing people talk a lot about is getting independent suspension, which I guess also wouldn't be a bad upgrade, but it's just really expensive and we aren't totally convinced that we necessarily need it. So we're just foregoing it for now.
And the last thing that people suggest to upgrade, which is a very good idea, is your tires. Brinkley comes with a 16-ply H-rated tire already on them. It's a Cooper brand, so it's a very good troller tire. Like, this is top of the line troller tire. If you have a brand on yours that you've probably never heard of or are known for problems or whatever, I would definitely suggest going ahead and upgrading your tires. Also, another tip for when upgrading tires is check the date on the tires that you're adding, because I believe it's 5 to 6 years after that you want to go ahead and upgrade your tires or replace them anyways, just to help prevent an incident down the road. So I know you're thinking our tires look like crap right now with all this mud and stuff on them, but they are good. They're only 2 years old. They were made the 11th month of year 22, but to get to places like this, and we'll add B-roll. Sometimes you have to go through a sticky situation, and it was rainy and super muddy down this hill up here, and that's why everything is covered in mud right now under here. But it will be shiny once again one day. So I know you're wondering what the upgrade is that we're doing. The one upgrade we are doing is we are converting our brakes to disc brakes. We have a whole kit right here from etrailer, but the brand of them is Deemaxx. We're going to convert our drum brakes to, what is this called? Hydraulic electric disc brakes. Disc brakes are way better at stopping. They're easier to maintain and change when time's needed. It's just a better technology. I think we all should go to these just for safety, really.
It's been something we've been thinking about for a while, ever since buying the Brinkley actually, but we decided now is the time, because the last thing we want is to be in the remote roads of Alaska or the Yukon and have some wildlife run out in front of us and not be able to stop in time. So we're gonna do it before Alaska is a great time. And of course, per usual, we're going to do the install ourselves. So
when she says ourselves, she means Craig's self.
Whatever. I'll be there for moral support and holding the camera, okay? A lot of people, times people give me crap for not helping, but somebody has to hold the camera.
I don't know what you would do. Like how, it's kind of, every single thing has to be done in a specific order and step, and each step is like a one-person job, so it's
So if you like seeing us, or Craig, rather, DIY stuff, please hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
So that you can see more of it on our channel, or if you just like our channel in general, because it helps us a lot. It's free and it keeps us able to making good content like this for you guys.
Yeah, and if we do screw this up on installing it, it's going to be very great to see what happens when we get to Alaska and they just quit working or something. So
No, I think we'll be fine.
you definitely got to subscribe.
An expert DIYer, okay?
Oh, I can watch some YouTube videos that tell me how to do stuff.
All right, so we got our disc brakes from etrailer.com. You guys know they're one of our main channel sponsors. And one of the things we love about them is how good they are at making sure you get the right parts.
If you haven't been to eTrailer yet, y'all are missing out. I'm telling you, they got everything. They teach you and show you and tell you everything that you could possibly need to know to do any kind of thing like this.
And we probably wouldn't have had the right parts if it wasn't for eTrailer, because we told them we want to do Deemaxx Disc Brake upgrade. Their product specialist told us was like, okay, well, we need to know this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, that's, I didn't know we even needed to know that, but we got them the information, and then they came up with an entire product list that we needed, which included products that we definitely didn't know we needed.
Yeah, and then it doesn't stop there. Like, they get us the parts and tell us the parts we need and everything. They also have plenty of videos that you can watch to show you step by step how to do it, and we're actually going to be using their videos to figure all this out. I have done drum brakes, I have done electric brakes, but I have never switched the two between each other, so this is a first for me, and it's definitely going to be great having their video to guide me.
Yeah, so you can watch ours as as an entertaining how-to, but if you want the real how-to, just go to eTrailer.com.
And everybody on here that's like, hey, how you do that? Blame eTrailer.
No, don't blame eTrailer. If it goes off the cuff, that's probably just Craig.
Yeah, I can already tell you now, y'all are gonna hate how I jack this trailer up, but I don't know, there's the whole way I got that I can do it, so.
Oh, and real quick, I'm gonna link a very helpful article from eTrailer in the description below that they sent us on the process of switching it over, because, well, show them the parts that we didn't know we needed.
So we're switching the drum to a disc. Basically, I guess that's the disc is the drum of the old ones. Part. So we needed that, but you also need this bracket. It all comes together.
But we didn't know we needed this?
Yeah, and then of course, so you need this guy and you need all these hoses and lines. There's a bunch of bolts. You got bearings and seals and all that. You gotta have DOT4 brake fluid. So there's a lot of stuff I just didn't think about when we started this adventure.
So if you're thinking of disc brake upgrade, read that article in the description below.
I know everybody's gonna ask why we chose Deemaxx over a different brand or whatever. There's two main reasons we chose to go with Deemaxx. One of the reasons is that they're the only company that has passed a very challenging, difficult test, and I do not know what it's called.
The SAE J2681. SAE J2681 brake test. We'll put it on the screen.
A very difficult test. I don't know. I can't remember the name. There's a bunch of numbers and letters involved. Also, the one that really stands out to me and just shows that they're actually trying to do it a little bit better with the way they are manufacturing these parts and components is on your rotor here.
And it's a patented design.
This is a patent design by them. They incorporated these holes inside it, which you can see all around here, so it won't hold water, it won't rust out the inside as quickly or hold moisture as long. It also helps with heat. It disperses the heat from inside there a little bit better than like a drum or other rotors.
All right, that's all the background information I think you need. Now we just need to get started. And by we, again, me and Craig. So
I'm really hoping we can get this done all today. I think we should be able to. I think the first one's gonna be just me figuring it out, and then all the other ones will go pretty easily.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Let us know how you think it's gonna go in the comments. It's gonna go one way or another. Have you ever done vehicle maintenance in a more beautiful place though?
No. No, we're gonna have this creek running through.
Whole river.
River, you get to listen to the water go by. Victoria's gonna put her hammock up and kick her feet up because she's bougie, and I'm gonna be out here just slaving away.
That's right.
All right, so first things first, we gotta get the tires off the ground. We gotta get the lug nuts off the tires. And to do that, because I don't have a big four jack that I can reach this frame with, I'm going to take a lot of the pressure off with the leveling system. I'm also going to use my jack for the truck to lift one tire up. All the other ones will stay on the ground, and I'm gonna throw a jack stand under the axle also to help support the weight, prevent me from bending or from damaging an axle from lifting the axle up with a jack, because typically you want to lift it up on the frame, but we can't reach that. So the idea behind doing the leveling system, the jack stand and the jack, is taking a lot of the weight from it just being in one spot and kind of distributing it throughout. So there's not as much weight just on top of this jack here. It also is gonna make it a little safer, so if anything does fall, the jack falls, the jack stand falls, I'm gonna have redundancy in the leveling system, the jack stand and the jack, and then of course the other tires that are also here to hopefully prevent any kind of accidents. So we're going to show you how to repack your bearings on your RV. Typically you want to do this once a year, or I believe it's like every 10,000 miles, whichever one comes first. So we're going to get into that. First you got to take your tire off, get the RV, lift it off the ground safely. Once you take the tire off, it'll look like this, maybe a little bit different, but for the most part it'll be this. And we're just going to pull all this off and repack the bearings. So let's get into it. So we're going to install all the brakes and then run the lines for the new brake system after all that. That way we can see how long or where everything needs to kind of go. First thing we got to do though is get this drum off, which I got to get this part off. Yeah, this is a little bit different. So a lot of times these will have just like this hub assembly part, the front part that you got to take off to take your drum off. A lot of times it just pops off. You hit it with a dead blow hammer and it kind of just pops off. These are threaded. I guess this is probably like the newer style, how they're doing them. Anyways, it's threaded on, so don't hit it with a hammer. So once you get that off, you'll have a cotter pin inside this nut right here. The cotter pin has to come out and then the nut comes off.
And you're saving all of this stuff, right?
Yeah. So that's what your cotter pin will look like. It comes out. We'll get the washer or nut out now. This nut is just finger tight on there, and that's how you'll want it to go back on when we get to that point. Next, just pull out all the washer and your bearings. My bearings are coming out pretty simple, which this is all very new, so it's not really been set up too long. So this is what the washer will look like, and this is what the bearings will look like. You have two sets of these bearings. You have one on the outside, and then there's another one on the inside after we pull this hub assembly off, which we're getting to right now. Sometimes this guy is kind of hard to pull off. I've gave mine a wiggle. It looks pretty loose. Again, mine's pretty new. Sometimes you have to spin this guy while you tap it with a hammer to free it up, but let's see if, yeah, mine's gonna come right off. So. All right, so now our brakes have never really worked great. Ever since we had the recall done, they just have not been very great. And it looks like, maybe, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but it's kind of pretty evident. You can even see all the grease on the side here and everything. But it looks like when they put the seal in, which keeps all the grease off your brakes, they didn't put it in right or correctly, or didn't put it in at all. I don't know yet. But there's grease all in here. Like the brakes had grease on them, everything's had grease on it. So I'm assuming they either, I don't know, they did something wrong, and that's what's preventing us from stopping very well. You don't want grease in here. So when we're putting them seals in, it's very important you get them seated correctly and put in the right way.
You're going to have some electrical cables attached for the electric portion of these.
Just watch some more of the etrailer video that kind of guide me through this. Next, we're just taking these off. And I believe ours comes with new hardware, so we don't really have to save any of this stuff. We're gonna take this off and pull everything out. So before this can come off, there's some wires that are going through it that engages your magnet. None of that matters, but you gotta snip them wires to pull it all the way off.
See, I'm here for moral support. Now we just gotta get this all cleaned up and we can start the actual new brake installation after that, right?
Yes.
So the bike accident for y'all was a week ago. For me, it was yesterday. And the dental anesthesia stuff, I think, messed with my nose, and now I'm sniffly, so I apologize. I sound terrible. Luckily, Craig's doing most of the talking in this one.
We're getting ready to install this guy on now. This is going to be what holds your brake caliper, but it's just a backing plate and everything and mount. And it's going to go over these, but pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You can install this guy whatever way you want that it'll line up. Like if it'll line up this way, you can install it that way. I'm going to install mine facing towards the back. I just feel like that's more of a traditional way for brakes. So that's how I'm gonna do mine. All right, so with these bearings, we're gonna take these bearings, which, just to show you before it's covered in grease. So you have this gap in the bottom of it here. We're gonna put some bearing grease in our hand, and then we're just gonna take these bearings and mash that grease in just like that until it starts coming out the top. And that way you'll know, and work it in on all the little rollers and everything too. That way you know that it's perfectly packed, and that's how we're gonna do it. So you see it starting to come through right there.
Hold
so
it up to the camera a little bit closer.
See it?
Oh yeah.
You can see it starting to come through. So one more, probably 2 more. And now you can see it coming through the top real well where it's been pushed through. So just make sure you work it, and you want it like that all the way around. All right, so same process for the other one. We got all the bearings packed, they're ready to go where they go. But first I'm going to kind of just clean up, change my gloves so we don't get grease. One very important thing is to not get grease on anywhere that your brake pads are going to touch. We're getting ready to put the bearing, the inside, inner bearing inside. You want to coat the inside of your drum or rotor, whichever. It's the same on both, same on the drum, same on the rotor. Wherever these bearings sit or touch, just make sure it's got a nice even coat of grease on it on the inside. We're also going to put some grease on the spindle before we slide all this on. So when you're looking at the back of your drum or rotor, you're going to take the bigger bearing, and it's just going to slip in. It's kind of a cone shape. You want the wider end kind of facing up. And then it should just sit right on in. It goes in pretty simple, so can't really mess it up. All right, so we got to install the seal, the grease seal. It's just going to sit right on in like this. The thing with this is very important. You get this to seat evenly around. Like you just want to kind of work it in and make it seat the best you can, or it won't seal properly. I am going to set it in here and set it in there. I'm gonna put this piece of wood on it and just kind of lightly tap it around just to seat it down there. All right, so now we're gonna set it on here and then put the other bearing in, and we're pretty close to being done with this one. All right, so now we're gonna install the last wheel bearing. This one, again, you want this to be packed full of grease, and you want the wide end of the bearing facing you, and it's just going to slip in. I say it's going to just slip in. You're going to have to finesse it a little bit. So we're going to put the axle nut on. We got washer on. You're going to put this on, and I believe it's an 1.5 inch socket. I don't have a socket that big, so we're using the channel locks. When you get it on, you're just going to want to tighten it real good. So everything just kind of seats. Tighten it up, it's going to seat everything. You're not going to be able to move your wheel, which you don't want. You want your wheel to be able to spin. So you're going to back this back off. And really, when you're done with everything on this guy is going to be, you're literally going to be able to adjust it with your fingers. So super loose. We're going to take our tire, take the center cap out, put the tire on, and that's going to give us some leverage to be able to wiggle this thing and see how much play there is, because this is what's adjusting the play inside the wheel. The amount it moves like this is affected by this guy. And you want it to be able to move, like when you're wiggling it, you want to be able to feel it like basically just start to wiggle. Like you don't really want any play in it, but it's got to have just a little bit of like almost wiggling. And you can kind of hear it. Like, I don't know if you can hear this or not. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but you'll be able to feel it. And with this, the way this nut is set up for the cotter pin to go through it, you're gonna have your choice between basically two. And one of them's gonna feel like maybe it's a little loose, and the other one's gonna be like it has no wiggle in it at all. Like it doesn't do anything. so you're gonna back it back off one. So it's with it like that, it makes it pretty simple to know which one. But again, just make sure you got a little bit in it. Also, a good thing to know, and maybe you do know, the way you check for a bad wheel bearing, maybe you suspect your wheel bearings are bad on trucks, older trucks, whatever. It does, trailers, all that. You lift your trailer up and you go out there and you wiggle it. If it's got a bunch of play in it, your wheel bearings inside your wheel are bad. No, that's just a good way to know. After you get the pin in, we're gonna pull the tire back off. We're gonna put the center cap inside it, clean everything up. We still got to put the brakes on and then put the tire back on. That's pretty much it. So now we're gonna get our brake caliper set up and get it ready to go on. This guy with their kit, they have these brake pads that come with these little dowels on the back to help it seat inside here. That way it can't move around too much. You might have to kind of work it. There we go. Clicks in. This guy, he just sits on in there. So the torque specs for this guy is on the back of your brake caliper. This one needs to be set to 40 foot-pounds.
What does that say now?
40.
Nice.
So last thing before we cover it all up, put tire back on, is you want to fill it up with grease. So you got your zerk fitting right here. Gonna shove this guy on. So you just want to keep pumping until you start to see it fill up. You'll see it come like towards this nut here. Once it gets like basically towards at the nut, you're pretty full. So we didn't get finished today. We ended up having to run in town, and I don't know, that was our whole day when we had to do that. But we're gonna finish up tomorrow. We just got one more wheel to do and then run the lines and install the actuator and fill it with brake fluid and then hope I did everything right.
Good morning. It is another beautiful day out here. I'm in look at Craig. So he gets to relax in the hammock sometimes too.
I only got to sit here because I have to video our next steps in the brake install. She doesn't let me rest, guys.
Whatever,
Old
look
slave
at him.
driver.
His feet's kicked up. Look how gorgeous it is out here. The weather is perfect. And of course, then you get Maverick peeing on the stump back there. What do we got to do today?
So we got to now install I got all the wheels done, everything's installed on the wheels. So it's got disc brakes on it with the brake calipers, but no way to operate them until I installed the actuator and the brake lines for the actuator. I'm a little nervous about it because I don't know how I'm getting power from our 7-pin to the brake actuator. Yeah,
I mean, there's wires.
There's wires, but I have to find the wires, and I also I want to install it in a specific spot, so I've got to figure that out. Came with everything. I think the actuator might be separate, but it's Deemaxx also. You just got to add that to the order, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So you add
three main components: the actual brake, the actuator, and the brake line kit. But also you need a brake controller, but we already have one. Ours will work.
Yeah, most modern trucks have one that'll work.
And a breakaway switch, which we also already had that would work, but you would also need one if you didn't.
Yeah, and if you're not sure if your truck will work with it, call etrailer. They'll tell you whether or not it'll work or not, or what you need and all that. They're very knowledgeable. Yeah, I mean, if you can just picture like tires being at the end of each end of the hose,
yeah,
you know, it makes sense. So
Craig already understood it, but I have to see things to understand things like this, so he laid it out for me. Not that I really need to know in order to install it since he's installing it, but I just like to be aware.
She likes to waste my time, guys.
Whatever.
So we're gonna install this one to the brass fittings on the brake caliper, and then we'll just keep going down the line.
We're really getting close to this being done. The actuator, obviously the hydraulic lines go into it, but it's kind of the most nerve-wracking part to me. I don't know if Craig feels the same way, because we have to wire, so we have to cut our 7-way pin wires, right? And then attach these to it so that our truck can still control the brakes and everything. Right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it do that.
All right, I think we got it all wired up. I'm gonna pull the breakaway switch to see if it turns on. And if it does, that means we did it right. If it don't, I don't know. Yes.
Oh, it turned on.
Nice. So happy, because this is also the way we're gonna bleed the brakes. Oh.
That's the last thing we have to do, right? Put all the brake fluid in and everything?
Yep, put the brake fluid in and that's it. We're done, bleed them and clean up. What an upgrade.
It's, well, we'll summarize once we get fully through, I think, on our thoughts. It's definitely DIY-able, but I wouldn't call it the easiest DIY. It's a whole job. It's a pretty big job.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's not too bad, just time consuming. Okay.
All right, all the lines have been bled.
Everything's done.
Everything's done.
We just gotta clean up.
And we'll test them on the way out of here, which we'll tell you how that goes. Hopefully all is working well.
I hope. That was a lot of work. And what a mess. Oh.
I know. Anytime you do projects, everything just, it's like tools, tables, tools. It's fine. Won't take long to clean up. All right, today's the day. We're leaving, gonna go test out these brakes. Headed to a full hookup campground. Really hope they work.
I feel pretty confident in my skills when I'm not doing a project, but then like as I'm doing the project, I'm like, maybe I'm not doing it that good. So part of me is like, there's a good possibility these brakes won't work.
I think they're gonna work. I have faith in them. I think you did a good job. It looks great. Followed instructions.
Yeah, and I'll watch like videos of other people doing wheel bearings and stuff, and they don't pack them or anything, or even try to get the seals in correctly, and not nearly as much as I try. And then I'm like, I probably did good.
He's like, yeah, exactly.
I can't see the hitch because of that box, so you're gonna have to back me up.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, come straight on back. A little bit more. A little bit. All right.
Brakes work. I tested them before I got up the hill or even started going up the hill. It seemed like a good time to do it in case I start rolling backwards or something. So that's pretty exciting. I just got to figure out, I can't remember what I'm supposed to set them to. Is it electric over hydraulic?
Yes.
Okay, heavy or light?
Probably heavy.
That's what I did, perfect.
All right, we're doing a little bit of brake testing.
So we'll go 50 to 20. We'll set it to, I don't know, 5. Usually, and just for reference, I had to have my brake controller before I did the brakes, like 8 to 10.
To even notice.
Yeah, so let's do like 5. So it's still way under what I used to have. Get back up to speed, get away from these curves. All right, that's 50.
And stopping.
Holy, it's so much better.
Already
and that's 20.
20. That was so much better.
It's like, literally just feels like I'm stopping the truck without a trailer behind me. These brakes, oh my gosh, if you do an upgrade, it's gotta be disc brakes. I don't know, this is like, cause the hitch is really great. The hitch is one of my favorite upgrades, but the brakes from a safety point of view of it, like aspect of it, like you're not beating it. The
hitch is probably the best convenience upgrade you can possibly make.
For sure, but these are convenient and safe, way more safe. So it's like, I don't know, if you're doing an upgrade and you only can do one, disc brakes every time. Like that's the ultimate upgrade.
We will of course link the disc brake kit that we got in the description below from etrailer, all of our parts and components and everything like that. And if you want to check it out, because I'm so happy we did this before Alaska too. Like I just feel like a deer or something. I mean, we already almost have deer running out in front of us all the time, but with all the wildlife, like we're gonna need to be able to stop.
Honestly, coming from Salt Lake City to here was like, I'm done with the mother brace. We didn't even show it either. Well, I don't know why we didn't, but the when I took the brakes off, so if you've been watching us, you know we had our brakes redone in Colorado less than a year ago. It's probably
There was
had
a brake recall.
Yeah, brake recall. Probably have put 5,000 miles on it since then. I had no brakes. The brake pads inside it were, I don't know if they didn't set them up right, but in every single brake, you have 2 brake shoes inside your drum. In every single brake, one of the shoes was completely gone. It was metal on metal. So, I don't know. They were pretty terrible. Doing this now and everything is like, these brakes are great.
I don't think we knew how terrible it was until we just pressed the brakes and realized how much better we were.
Also, I would have never expected to only get 5,000 miles out of some brakes.
No, a mobile tech back in Colorado did it. I don't know if they just did something wrong. Clearly, you're not supposed to, like, it's not only one brake pad supposed to wear down at a time, so something went a little wrong somewhere.
Yeah.
We've also been doing a little bit of shopping to prepare for our Alaska/Canada trip. But first, let me tell you, this RV park is so nice. I mean, I don't know if it's just because we've been without hookups for 60 days, but it's really not actually, because it's right on the river. It's got a beach, it's got nature trails. There's so much green space. The sites are nice, everything you would need. Plus, it's right close to downtown Coeur d'Alene, which is the cutest town. I love Coeur d'Alene so much. I did not expect it, but downtown, there's so many parks. There's the bike path and / running path that runs right through downtown, all these little shops. It's just gorgeous. I really, really like this town. I wish we were gonna be here for longer than we are, but I know, you wanna know what's in the boxes, so let's go check them out. All right, you guys come over here and show them what we got. So we did a little bit of Amazon shopping and Harbor Freight shopping. And Craig got a lollipop from, the car wash.
You touched it.
Okay, so this is what we got. We didn't do a lot of shopping, but we got a few things. And I wanted Craig to help with the unboxing so that he can talk about how much we don't need all this stuff. He don't think we need any of it. So that later on, when we're on the side of the road using all of it, I can be like, I told you so. First up, this was highly recommended by you guys, tire repair kit. Any thoughts on the tire repair kit?
We could need this one. I think this one's a good one, but I still don't want to get a flat tire.
Well, nobody wants a flat tire. And now that we have this, we probably won't get one.
I think it's
like $6.
I think we jinxed ourselves with this stuff.
From Amazon, we got these. We've never had these as much of avid hikers.
We're from Florida.
Yeah, that's true. We're from Florida. Anybody know what it is? They're crampons that go on your boots, guys.
Yeah, so we can hike snowy mountains.
I don't know if there's going to be any snowy mountains to hike, but I was concerned that there would be, since we are still going a little bit early.
I think we'll also get use out of them just like next fall and spring and winter.
Way cheaper on Amazon too, than like REI. Granted, they might fall apart. I don't know. We'll see. Next up, what do you want to show?
Why don't you show them this thing? Definitely don't need this. You don't need no tow rope. First of all, to tow yourself out, you got to have another vehicle. So
we're going with friends.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Kaylin and Joseph kind of got this for you guys because you're the ones without 4-wheel drive.
Although I have been stuck in 4-wheel drive vehicles more than 2-wheel drive vehicles.
That's because you think you can get out. It wasn't that expensive from Harbor Freight. It's 9,000 pound working load. Obviously, with the truck and RV, we've got a lot more than that. So this will just be like emergency situation. Hopefully won't need it.
Yeah. And there's been times where like I've pulled people out and needed a tow strap. So
yes.
Now we got one.
Now we got one. Might be able to help somebody out on the road. Other thing that we should already have, but we just didn't have any left of. Duct tape, because you never know when you're gonna be on the side of the road and need to duct tape a piece of your RV back together.
I honestly use duct tape 3 times a year. I don't think we needed duct tape.
We'll see.
We will see.
Next up. Oh, this goes with the tow rope. We got a D-ring shackle, 1. I'm pretty sure you should have 2, but we were like, eh.
I don't think so. I think you just pull the thing through the loop and then you just need 1. I think we get through with just 1.
We got 1 D-ring shackle for our tow rope.
Figure it out.
This other one, highly recommended by you guys on our community post, long zip ties.
What is that for?
This is for when we hit something on the road and our sewer hose gets knocked off again and we need a long zip tie to sewer hose holder. That happened to us before we hit something in the road. The sewer hose holder got
She just
knocked off.
jinxing us. All this stuff's gonna happen because she bought all this.
Nah.
What is these?
Oh, and these are not really to prepare. This is a GoPro mount for the side of the car so that if the RV does fall apart going down the road, maybe we'll catch it on camera.
I don't know about sticking that to the truck now. You're gonna be scratching the truck up.
How is this rubber thing gonna
The dirt?
scratch the truck up?
If there's dirt,
It's not gonna, you can clean it.
the truck?
Yes, I'll clean the spot. And then this. You know what I can clean it with? The last thing that we ordered from Amazon, these magic or ultimate cloths. Liz, thanks for the recommendation. I was influenced. And they apparently, no, I did try it. They work. I don't know how it works. With water only, these cloths, they clean the fridge, the microwave, the shower doors, like really well. Do you approve of all our stuff?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I approve. I think you could end up needing all this stuff, but I don't think we're going to end up needing it.
Let's hope not. No, I'm using these cloths though. These are going to come in handy.
Look at her throwing them on the floor. Jeez.
Okay, well let's have Craig show you what he got.
What did I get?
That right, all that pile of stuff right there. Right here.
All right, this is important stuff here though. Because I know while we're in Alaska, because it's like how many miles to Alaska from here, first of all?
Like, I don't know, over 2,000.
Yeah, over 2,000. I think we got about 5,000 miles
We're
left
gonna
before.
spend like 3 months there.
Yeah, so 5,000 miles left before we need to do maintenance again on it. So
On the truck.
I went ahead. Doc's diesel. For anybody with diesel, Doc's diesel. It's just super
Again,
convenient.
thank you guys.
Yeah.
Major recommendation the last time Craig did truck maintenance, everybody said, order from Deemaxx Diesel, it's way cheaper.
And I have always seen them online. I've never bought from them, and then everybody started saying, "Yeah, buy from them," blah blah. And so I did, and they're very simple. I don't know, it was easy, so that was nice, and it wasn't expensive.
So oil filters, fuel filters.
Yeah, fuel filters, oil filters, and then air filters and cabin air filter. Change your cabin air filters, guys. You gotta be doing that too. Don't be lazy.
And a thing that Craig already installed, some filter that we needed to install for a long time.
CCV filter also came in. I was overdue on changing that out, so I already went ahead and changed it out. And but yeah, had to change that one.
I forgot one thing I ordered from Amazon a while back. The milepost, of course, 2024 version. Everybody, says you gotta have the milepost. I've been looking through it. It has been helpful so far for planning our route. We'll probably start looking at it more as we actually start heading up and looking at it mile by mile. And now food. What are we doing with the food situation? This is probably Craig's favorite thing. We did a little bit of a Costco stock up, not really much, because
Oh, speaking of food, actually, I just read a comment on one of our videos. I don't remember what video it was on, but somebody was like, "I could never eat like you guys enjoy it while you're young." Maybe that's part of the case. I just need you guys to know, I have been running so much lately. Hey, I earned this. I just did I ran the distance of a half marathon. I'm pretty proud of it too. I just ran the distance. I didn't run a regulated half marathon. I just did the distance and timed myself to see how fast. I did it with an average pace of 7:23.
Yeah,
so I'm
he's
pretty
insane.
excited about it. I want to get that under 7 though, and then maybe we can run something.
anyways. So we mostly got snacks that are already halfway gone, like pretzels, that trail mix Craig was talking about. I just grabbed little things that I thought would be nice to not have to find out in person. Coconut
If you're making
milk.
curry, you got to do it with this coconut stuff. It's so good.
Yeah, like the real good coconut milk. Very good. So we didn't do, and the other major thing we stocked up on was freezer meat. So contrary to popular belief, so we got like a lot of ground turkey, chicken. You can take meat into Canada according to the Canadian government's website. I did a lot of research the last time when we crossed into Canada. I actually put together a whole email list with links to their websites. I'll put a link in the description below if you want me to send that to you. But it just has to be packaged as like product of the USA. Same thing even with eggs right now. Now, eggs and fresh chicken goes back and forth, but right now it seems like even fresh chicken, as long as it's packaged product of the USA, it's okay to bring. We are going to clean ourselves out of any just like open milk or produce, just so that there's no questions, but you are allowed to bring meat through. So we went ahead and stocked up on that, so we don't have to worry about it once we get across the border. In terms of paperwork, it's pretty simple. We've got our passports ready. We have the dog's vaccination records ready. We will have our insurance and license plate numbers handy. Do you remember last time when we were going through that it tripped us up because he asked for the license plate number and
on the trailer and the truck?
Yeah, and we didn't have one super handy, or I knew it, but when I said it, he was like, I can't hear a word you're saying. And so then I was trying to tell you to tell him. Anyways, we're just gonna make sure that we've got all those numbers on a piece of paper that Craig can read off, because he'll be the driver, because only the driver should talk, apparently. It's just easier that way, because they really might not be able to hear all the way through the truck or whatever, especially if it's on and running. And then one of the final things that we're doing right now, actually, to prepare for crossing the border into Canada, is we're going to pick up some Canadian currency. I remembered to call ahead this time to my bank, asked them to like order, you have to call at least like 2 days ahead, because they order the currency to the bank branch and then you go in and pick it up. Most places will accept cards, so I'm not super concerned about it, but sometimes there are some cash only places, or like there's been some wildfires lately that has taken out the internet, and so there are gas stations that are cash only, RV parks that are cash only, and people without cash are having a hard time up there, so just want to be prepared. Got the cash.
We're rich. We did this once before with Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And then I threw it all over the truck. I don't want to do that this time.
We ended up getting $500 US, which came out to about 650 Canadian dollars. I feel like that may be too much. Anyways, that's pretty much all we've done to prepare for Canada. We did the brake job. We ordered some stuff off Amazon, Harbor Freight. I feel like things to just be a little extra prepared in case of any emergencies.
I feel like we have to break something now, though, just to make it all worth it.
Yeah, well, let's not
Put in the
say
comments
that.
what we should break. Whatever one gets the most mentions, we're breaking it.
I don't know what he's talking about half the time. Also, let us know if you think we are underprepared or overprepared. I doubt anybody thinks we're overprepared, but if you think we're underprepared, what do you think? What do you think we should have gotten?
Honestly, the only thing that I feel like we did different was get foreign currency. So
We replaced our whole brakes.
I guess.
That was in preparation.
Whatever. I don't know.
But hey, on the next one, we cross the border soon. Hit that subscribe button. We are going to be crossing over into Canada. Let you guys know how it goes. This will be our third border crossing with the RV. Second time into Canada. The other time was into Mexico. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm not as nervous as I was the last 2 times.
And we got some fun stuff planned for while we're in Canada and Alaska. So you definitely want to click the subscribe button.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you also for everyone who gave me well wishes on my face situation with the bike accident. As you can see, it's actually healing up quite well. You can barely even see my little chin thing anymore. Oh, okay though. Feeling pretty good. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.